Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we have a couple of repairs to do. That's not a big concern. We can get that done before this financial report, but even if we couldn't, we wouldn't really care because this is intended to be the final episode of this particular very long-running series. Now, we're not leaving RogueTech behind, absolutely not. I'm going to be putting up a poll, it's probably already up by the time this goes live actually, about what our follow-up series will be, but that will be a limited series. I will want that to end around the time the save break comes in for RogueTech, which would be a pretty short series, all things considered. So I'll have to try to come up with some limited series for that, but I definitely want to come back to RogueTech before they change too much, because otherwise I'll just have to learn basically the whole game again, which would not necessarily be great. Let's go ahead and tick forward and get our mechs back. And then we're going to try to do the hardest mission that we can. Yeah, Dr. Murad can borrow our mech warrior. No lasting consequences. Fantastic. So, we're just going to do the hardest mission that we can here on Camlan. We're not going to try to travel to like a 20 skill mission, but that should be absolutely fine. Let's double check the mech bay, make sure everything's good to go. It is indeed. Okay, let's do one last trip through the barracks here. And we are going to give Bullfrog some training. There we go, a point of tactics, as well as Kodiak. Okay, Kodiak doesn't get anything. Sure. Well, we'll hop into the command center, and we'll see what the toughest mission available here is. This is actually a travel contract. How long would it take us to get there? 21 days? I mean, I'm not sure that that really matters. It's a recovery mission, but this is the only 10 skull available. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. And it's no free priority salvage. The max pay is actually really low on it. But it is the highest skull mission available, so we're going to go ahead and head on over. And we're going to take a financial report on the way. That's fine, we're not planning on continuing this, although with the amount of stuff we have in storage, we'd probably be completely fine, even if we lost quite a lot in this mission, which, I mean, for all I know, we won't. Like, this could be super simple. Or this could be the most complicated mission we've ever run. It's RogueTech. It's very hard to say. We're gonna try to go out in a blaze of glory, but it's only a 10 skull. And the compensation makes me think that maybe this is not going to be all that complicated. We don't know that for a fact, but we'll see. So I guess we'll travel on over. We should have done this before we finished up our repairs, of course. And yes, we will proceed. This is almost certainly not going to be worthwhile. Okay. So, what are we actually doing here? This is a recovery in the jungle. Sounds good. We're going to run all of our default mechs here. That'll be fantastic. We'll go ahead and deploy that. The Fafnir is underweight. Yes, that is normal for the Fafnir. Darius thinks that this will be difficult. Good. I hope it'll be difficult. Unfortunately, this being RogueTech, we have no real way to control how difficult this will be. It'll either be the most difficult thing ever, or we'll walk straight through it and just eliminate everything in like 10 minutes. Either way. I mean, you can, I suppose, look at the length of this video. I don't know yet, but you can look at the length of the video to determine how difficult this will be. If this is like a 40+ minute video, it'll be pretty complicated. If it's like an 18-minute video, well, this series will go out with a whimper in that case. Well, that's not necessarily the worst thing. I mean, we've been doing this for a very long time. There's a save break coming up. We definitely need to get this finished up. So, have they even announced when the save break is going to be? Let me actually check the Discord here. The answer appears to be no. They're still saying early to mid-May. Okay. So they've not announced any sort of a time frame there. So we've got somewhere around 2 weeks, apparently. But I'm okay with taking like a month or two break. I just don't want it to be too much longer than that. So the series that we're going to do, I'm personally leaning towards the KSP series. And that'll be amazing. If this is a real thing, it's going to be defended like you can't even imagine. This one will be tough. Oh, I hope so. So we need to retrieve the memory core and escape. We're going to skip this. If you're interested, you can pause the video and read the briefing there. But we're just going to dive in because I'm hoping that this will be challenging and we'll need the time. Okay, so we're going to be up on this ridge, it looks like. We've definitely dropped here before. That's the base that we're going for. Okay.
Watch for vines. We don't want to get tripped up.
So we're going to drop right around here. I mean, getting down this is not the end of the world. We could actually drop right here instead. This might be a slightly better drop point for us because then we can make it down to here. It looks like there's some enemies up over this way as well as over by the base. That should be fine. We're going to drop right here. And if we lose mechs, that is for the best. Okay, they have a single support lance. Sure. Well, they miss our Fafnir there entirely. That's not bad. We do see a Dragon Slayer, a Banshee, a Boar's Head, a Stalker, an Emperor, and that's just the support lance? No, that's a Lyran setup. So there's... Yeah, this is the support lance here. This is a member of the Garrison Lance. Okay. So it is our Salamander who moves first. We also see a Rakshasa and an Emperor out there. That makes more sense. We'll position here. We are in cover, and we could fire on this Emperor. We are in range of the MRMs, although it's not going to be very effective at this range. 22% versus... Well, actually 27% for the improved versus 19.8 for the AX. Technically, we are still better off firing AX here, but it's mostly these evasive. We have 240 tons, or 240 rounds, rather, of AX. Honestly, I think we're going to fire improved here.
Firing.
And we'll just let that Emperor move. Okay, I probably should have reserved. In retrospect. So the Stalker moves up. Has that got an arrow 4? No. Okay, sounds good. Very minor damage coming in there.
You need me to hold still for you?
Okay, so it positioned right here. Got it.
Aye, aye.
So far, this doesn't look too bad, if I'm honest. The Annihilator is going to move up over here.
Hauling ass.
And we could fire at that Dragon Slayer or the Stalker. The Stalker would be the better call here. We're definitely going to do that. That's pretty long range, no doubt about that, but we'll go ahead and fire cluster rounds at it. Nice armor strip there. I like it. This is a unit that we don't see. Firing at our Salamander, that's okay. No problem whatsoever there. That was actually that Atlas 2, I think.
What's up, boss?
Our Fafnir is going to start sprinting down this hill, but we're going to reserve it first. I would love to see this Emperor move before we move our Fafnir. This Banshee is moving. It spreads out a little bit, goes for our Annihilator. Only does a little bit of damage there. Honestly, I was expecting there to be a little bit more here. That's a Thumper Artillery.
Losing armor.
That was on that Templar 3. Okay. The Boar's Head moves up, fires on our Salamander.
Damage is minor, Commander.
Okay. So we definitely see, what, a total of 2 lances here? 1, 2, 3. There's the Rakshasa up here. Yes. So there's 2 lances currently. There could be another lance that spawns. That's definitely a danger. We're going to place the Bull Shark here, and I think we're going to drop artillery. I would love to hit this Banshee. But the Dragon Slayer is actually the better target here.
Firing on target.
I don't love it, but we'll take it. We did make him unsteady there. And we didn't get knocked down. That's nice. The longbow can move up here. And it could fire on that Emperor, which still hasn't moved. The Dragon Slayer is probably going to be our best bet. Actually, hit odds are identical on that Banshee. And we do slightly more damage with the ELRM that way. But hit odds are actually exactly the same on the Stalker and on the Templar. The most damage that we're going to do would be out on this Atlas too, but hit odds drop dramatically out that way. So I think the Stalker is actually our best odds here to get the most damage done. So we're going to Warlord to boost those odds and to boost... Oh, that's the Banshee? I thought for sure we had the Stalker selected. Okay, I meant for that to hit the Stalker, but I did not manage to pull that off, I guess. The Mauler is going to move up over here. Now for the Mauler, we're probably far better off to fire over this direction. Yes, the Dragon Slayer is the one to go for here. Light him up. Pretty hefty damage to that Dragon Slayer there. He's in panic level critical. The Emperor moves now. He moved out over this direction. Okay, good to know.
Orders.
So the Madcap Mark II will position up over here. Apparently we walked through a fire. Oh, there is a fire there. I didn't even notice that. Sure. Just checking these hit odds here. The Templar 3 is actually the one to go for here, which is good because that's the guy with the artillery piece. Although, maybe he only had the one shot. This is in red now.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good armor strip to that Templar 3 there. So we're mostly just softening up a bunch of their mechs right now. I'm not too concerned about focusing one down. We're going to turn our Boar's Head here, swap over to high explosive, and just checking these hit odds. Honestly, the Templar 3 is the way to go. I don't love the choice. I would like it if they were more grouped up, but we'll definitely go for that. Okay, sounds good.
Good to go.
Our Fafnir is absolutely going to start coming down the hill here. Sadly, this is all in rough terrain, so we're going to position it here. And we're going to Warlord. We actually have rear arc on this Emperor. It is out of range of our UAC-20s. But I think we still soften up this rear arc.
Firing on rear arc.
Okay. Next phase, or rather next round, he moves phase 12. The Stalker moves up, fires on the Fafnir. That's fully expected. They're going to hit the Fafnir very hard because we're in the rough terrain. We should expect the Fafnir to be knocked down here. We already lost our evasive. When does the Fafnir move this round? We'll find out in a moment. But yeah, they're just going to continue hitting the Fafnir. Fully expected. Round 13? Okay. That's going to be a while. We should expect the Fafnir gets knocked down. The Templar goes for the Fafnir as well. It does not fire the artillery piece, and it misses. Well, so far that's LBX AC-10. Ah, so that's not actually an artillery piece. It's an LBX with some exotic form of ammo, I guess. Okay, good to know. The Salamander is absolutely going to head down this way. We will position here. We will Vigilance the Salamander. And we are going to hit this Emperor super hard in the rear arc. Do we want to use improved MRMs? Honestly, with the amount of armor he has, probably. Let's go ahead and do it.
10-4.
And that is one dead Emperor. As expected, the moment we saw that rear arc. Okay, next up is a phase 17 mover, the Atlas. It will continue to go for the Fafnir. And that'll be a knockdown. We fully expect that. Yep, this is fine.
Oh, that hit meat.
The Annihilator will step forward over this way. And what are we going to look to annihilate here? Well, we're probably not going to get a kill with him. The Templar 3 wouldn't be a terrible choice. The Dragon Slayer is a slightly better one. Yes, the Dragon Slayer is the way to go here. Well, we made the Dragon Slayer unsteady anyway. Phase 15, they're going to move their Boar's Head. Once again, they're going to go for the Fafnir, obviously. They have to go for the Fafnir. Like, it's the only real choice here. Okay, we're going to move our Madcap Mark II, and we're going to close in over this way. We would love to continue to hit this Victor. Is that the best hit odds, though? Technically, the Templar is the best hit odds here. Okay, we'll go for that.
All weapons are go.
Sure. So the Banshee moves up. It's going to go for the Annihilator of all things. That is not a choice I would have made. I would have continued to focus the Fafnir, but okay.
Ready for
So the Mauler can position up over here.
I copy.
And in terms of hit odds here, absolutely the Victor. Okay. I'm not shocked by that, and we're starting to get some pretty heavy refire penalties for our heavy Gauss. Ooh, that was a solid hit, though. So that's a knockdown on that Victor. No ejection. That's fine. Okay, phase 12.
Yes,
At this
Commander.
point, our Bull Shark will just step up over here.
On the move.
And they have a couple of clusters that we could target. We could target this Atlas too. If we happen to land like here, we could hit all three of these, and I think that's going to be our best bet with the Long Tom. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We'll even Warlord to boost up our UAC-5 and LRM-20 hit odds.
Affirmative.
And we did actually hit all three of those. Not bad. Do we get knocked down? We do not.
Ready for orders.
Okay, sounds good. The Longbow will step up over here.
I copy.
And I think we probably go for the kill on the Victor. Actually, hit odds are exactly the same on the Templar. And I think we should go for the armor strip there. We could easily get a kill on the Templar, and the Victor should be killable next round easily. So we didn't get the kill on the Templar, but we did destroy a lot of its weaponry. Okay. Either of those mechs should be easy to kill from here. The Atlas is going to step forward.
No sweat.
And we're going to also fire... Actually, I think we're going to fire on the Banshee with the Atlas. The Sniper Artillery and Arrow 4 have a smaller splash than the Long Tom, so I think that stripping armor off of this Banshee and also hitting the Victor will be the better bet here.
You betcha.
Not a good Sniper Artillery or Arrow 4 shot there. Those are both pretty bad. We did some internal damage to that Victor, but not a lot. Okay.
Yes, Commander.
The Fafnir will stand up. And now we're going to get off of that rough
Okay.
terrain.
Regain stance, Commander.
We can only go this direction? We're blocked in by the Salamander right now. We could position here, though, that is off of the rough terrain, and we could fire on either of these. I think the Victor is going to be the way to go. Our hit odds aren't good, though.
Locking on target.
Not the crits we were hoping for, but that's okay.
Target's taken a critical hit.
Okay, sounds good. Next up is our Salamander, which is absolutely going to advance here. Can we not go down this? Apparently we can't go down this embankment. We'll have to carefully maneuver. That is unfortunate. But we'll do so.
I got you.
So now we know that we need to go down this direction. That's okay. We can send the Fafnir that way, as well as our other mechs if necessary. We see the Rakshasa over here. Hit odds are mediocre. We could go for the kill on the Templar, and honestly, I think that's what we're going to do. Hit odds are slightly lower than firing on the Victor, but I'm okay with that.
10-4.
There we go. One dead Templar.
Target down.
Next up, the Victor gets up. This is fully expected. And where's he going to go? What's he going to shoot at? Interesting positioning. Probably not what I would have
Light
chosen
damage.
there.
Holding firm.
Because he's placed the Dragon Slayer in front, that makes it pretty easy for us to go for stray shots. And he's not attempting to block with the stronger mech either, so I'm not entirely sure what the point behind that is. The Fafnir is taking fire, but the Fafnir will, of course, head over this direction. And we'll just sprint it into this cover.
Going full throttle.
We'll also Vigilance it to get rid of that instability. And we can fire up at this Victor. That'll probably be our best bet. We'll just crit fish here.
Got it.
We got a crit. It's not a good crit, but it's a crit.
Solid connection on that one.
They have 3 phase 15 movers. Okay. So one of them is, of course, this Banshee. Fires on the Salamander. Gets a little bit of damage in there, but not too bad. Okay, they've also got the Boar's Head back here, and also the Stalker. They're really going for the Salamander here. This is okay, though.
Armor holding.
So these two are stacked together. The Boar's Head moves out, fires indirect at the Salamander. That's okay. No real concerns there.
Awaiting
Cool.
orders.
So the Annihilator is going to pretty much stay put here. I think we're going to fire on the Dragon Slayer. Yeah, there's not really another option here. We go for the Dragon Slayer. That is one dead Dragon Slayer.
Hostile removed.
Excellent. Our laser AMS unjammed as well, which is nice. They're continuing to focus on the Salamander, which is fairly expected. The Rakshasa will ace pilot and not move very far at all there. Okay, cool.
Good to go.
So the Mauler will head up onto this ridge,
my way.
and we're going to fire probably on the Banshee, but we should... Actually, the hit odds are much better on that Stalker. We should consider refire penalties on that HGR. That's getting up there, for sure. We'll go ahead and fire this and see what happens. Okay, we hit the regular Gauss, but not the HG.
Waiting on you, Commander.
The Boar's Head will step forward, and as far as artillery targets go, I mean, the Atlas II is the clear target here. There's no other option.
Got it.
The Arrow 4 wasn't good, but the Sniper Artillery was. No knockdown
Standing
again.
by.
We're getting some good rolls on the knockdowns.
Copy that.
We're going to, once again, fire on the Atlas II with the Long Tom. Not the greatest Long Tom shot I've ever seen. But it got some armor strip going on, I suppose.
I'm here.
The Longbow will step up to the ridge, and which of these mechs will we go for? Probably the Banshee? Actually, the Rakshasa is very solid hit odds. Like, sure, our enhanced LRM-15 drops a little bit. But we can fire Artemis 4 on the enhanced, and the ELRM's standard. And that'll do a good amount of damage to that Rakshasa. Like, look at that. That was really good.
Receiving.
I'm quite pleased with that. The Magcat Mark II will advance up over this way.
Coordinates received.
We could also fire on the Rakshasa. Hit odds are pretty okay now that we have boosted the hit odds because they lost their instability. Hit odds are slightly better out over this way, but I think for the moment, getting rid of this Rakshasa would be a big deal. Because these things can be hard to hit. And he's just straight up dead.
That's a kill.
I love it. That worked very well.
Order.
Next up is going to be our Fafnir, which is going to try to sprint across this open field here.
Call an ass.
And we'll go ahead and Vigilance to give ourselves some cover here. The Fafnir took a lot of damage in the torso here, of course. But we can fire on this Banshee. The UACs are pretty out of range still. Very low hit odds. We're only going to fire them in X1 mode.
Engaging with target.
We did actually hit one of those. It's a pretty big deal.
That hit something good.
Okay, phase 18. They're going to move their Stalker here. They go for the Salamander. Now we get to move our Salamander instantly, so this instability doesn't actually matter.
Armor loss. Confirmed.
We will go ahead and, once again, we have to carefully maneuver. So we will head down over here.
Move order received.
And we're going to fire probably on the Banshee, I think. Yeah, it has to be the Banshee. Improved MRMs would be the way to go here.
Firing.
And the Banshee's dead. Okay.
Target
Only
down.
3 enemies remain.
My SRMs are out.
So now they're going to move the Atlas II. The question is, how much do they spread out here? They continue to fire on the Salamander. That's unsurprising.
I'm catching some serious shit here, Commander.
Oh, you're okay. For now. You might not be okay for too much longer. Yeah, you're okay, though. No problem there.
Standing by.
So next up is our Annihilator, which will maintain its position on the ridge. 57, 57, and out of range. Okay. 57.9, 57.9, 64.3. Sure. We'll probably go for the Stalker here since his armor is quite a bit lower. That said, the Stalker is a really good artillery target at the moment. They've moved everything, correct? Correct. We're just going to reserve until we have artillery open.
Aye, aye.
I would like to move everything else after the artillery.
Waiting for the right move.
So the Bull Shark is going to drop artillery on this Stalker, creating ourselves a structure exposure there and not getting knocked down, shockingly. The Boar's Head is going to step forward, and we're once again dropping artillery on this Stalker.
Roger that. Firing on target.
Not the greatest shots I've ever seen,
Another hit like that.
but it'll do the trick.
Getting pretty hot in here, Commander.
Indeed you are. So the Madcat Mark II is going to move down over here. It is out of cover. That's okay. We're going to fire on the Stalker. We do expect a kill here. And that's one dead Stalker.
Enemy down.
Excellent. Only 2 enemies remain. The Annihilator is going to fire on the Atlas II here. We're looking for Armor Shred. And we're going to go ahead and Warlord this. These hit odds are a little on the lower side. So we'll fire that.
Copy that.
AC-20 ammo explosion there. That's not bad.
Hit.
Waiting for orders.
So the Mauler can move its way up over here. This is the edge of the map here. Slightly awkward. We're going to fire on this Atlas II.
Affirmative.
An Engine Core 300 crit there. And that'll be a knockdown. Okay. So next up will be our longbow, which will move on up here, and we will eliminate this Atlas II. It doesn't survive this. I'm 99% sure of that.
Firing all weapons. Let's hit 'em hard.
Actually got a core meltdown out of that one. Okay, cool.
Destroyed. Watch those
And finally, this Boar's Head.
Waiting for orders.
So our Fafnir is going to sprint forward up over here. We do get LOS here, but do we care about LOS on the Fafnir? Kind of no. We're going to park off in this cover here.
Orders.
Now the Salamander is once again going to have to careful maneuver out over to here.
10-4.
And we can fire on that Boar's Head, but only with our LRM. Our MRMs are out of range.
Engaging target.
But we can get a tiny amount of armor shred on him that way.
Yes, Commander.
The Annihilator will remain exactly where it's at. We're out of range of our LBX, but we're going to fire our LRMs.
We'll go.
Some more armor shred there.
Standing by.
The longbow is running a little bit hot right now, but I think this overheat is acceptable for the moment. We'll even Warlord to boost clustering, and to boost hit odds a little bit.
I copy.
Okay, so we made him
My
unsteady.
heat sinks can't take
He will
much more.
move fairly soon, but our Boar's Head will go ahead and drop artillery on him. And this overheat is fine.
Right, Commander.
Surprisingly, we didn't get knocked down yet
Getting
again.
pretty high.
I'm actually shocked by
On
that.
move.
Our Mauler will continue to close in over here, and we're going to fire on that Boar's Head. He can't take much more of this. Sadly, we missed both Gauss, but we hit both ER large lasers, which caused a knockdown on the Boar's Head, which will reserve him back to phase 8. Okay, sounds good.
Awaiting orders.
Our Bull Shark will step forward over here. We have direct LOS. We'll be able to fire our Ultra AC. Structure exposure, and that Atlas is gone. We got knocked down, but that's okay. We rolled quite well there. So, I mean, all things considered, that wasn't particularly hard. I mean, that's always the danger with RogueTech, right?
Roger that.
Like, you never know. It's either going to be ludicrously easy or ludicrously hard, and there's kind of no in-between. That's kind of the joy of RogueTech. So we're just going to advance up here. We need to recover the memory core. We should expect another lance after we recover the memory core.
Oh, God.
I'm not necessarily claiming that there will be, but it is something that we should absolutely plan for.
Location confirmed.
We're going to careful maneuver the Mauler down the cliff, but the rest of these guys, we're going to send them around the long way. The Fafnir will head up towards this road. The Salamander will hit the road. The bull shark will head on down. I still want to be able to walk down this. I don't know. It looks like I should be able to, but I guess not. So we're going to go ahead and careful maneuver. And we're going to careful maneuver down the cliff a bit. It'll take a couple turns to do that. That's okay.
On my way.
So the Fafnir will hit the road up here, and the Salamander will head on up. Do we want the Salamander to be the one to pick up the memory core? I mean, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Confirmed.
Maybe the Mad Cat should be the one to do that. The Mad Cat's still fresh, unlike the Fafnir and the Salamander. But we need to close on in over here for sure.
Copy that.
And we've got a lot of mechs working on closing in. The Mauler, of course, will need to continue, not first aid, we'll need to continue to carefully maneuver. We'll probably have to do at least one more careful maneuver to get down that. But I still think that that's the faster way to go. Like, it's going to get here much more quickly than some of these other mechs. The Annihilator will move on up, the Fafnir will move on up, as will the Salamander.
You got it. Coordinates received.
And we will go ahead and careful maneuver the Mauler again.
Move order received.
Straight down into that cover. Excellent.
Position confirmed.
So the Mad Cat Mark II is getting close up here. The Salamander will position up over here. We don't want the Salamander to be the one to pick it up in case there is indeed another lance. And yeah, look at that. Look at how much further ahead the Mauler is from the Bull Shark and Longbow. Now, these other faster mechs have managed to make up that distance, but that's pretty good.
On the move.
So yeah, we're not going to park in there with the Salamander. We're just going to chill here. And up we go. So the Mad Cat Mark II, I think we'll be able to get in there next round. The Fafnir will park here for the moment. The Salamander will just park.
Moving out.
And the Boar's Head is closing in, as is the Mauler.
Moving out.
And the Longbow.
On my way.
Cool. The Mad Cat Mark II doesn't quite make it in that round. That's a little sad.
Order confirmed.
But the Bull Shark will continue to close in, and the rest of our mechs will as well. But we should expect that there will be another lance here.
Acknowledged.
If there isn't, I'm going to be slightly disappointed. We'll find out. We'll continue to close in our other mechs. And what do we got up here? We wiped out the Op4. Okay, I'm slightly disappointed that RogueTech only gave us 2 lances. But that's RogueTech for you. I was hoping for a blaze of glory. Instead, it was pretty easy. Unfortunate. Oh well. I mean, we made it through that, no problem. And I don't know, this planet might be higher difficulty. We definitely would have no trouble continuing. Of course, this is planned to be the end. Make sure to check out the poll that should be up by the time this video is live. And there'll only be about 24 hours for that poll to take effect. So that's going to be a thing. I will definitely have to try to come up with some relatively short ideas on how we want to do it. I don't know, maybe like a KSP Duna colony. That could be interesting. It's kind of overdone, I feel like. I don't know. I'll have to think of something. I don't really care about any of this salvage. This is not very relevant to us because it's the end of the series. We're just going to take these Atlas parts and call it good. Fantastic. I mean, we took some fairly heavy damage on a couple of mechs. Like the Fafnir and the Salamander are going to take a while to repair because of their ferrolamellar armor. But we don't actually care because it's the end of the series. But I'm still interested in knowing how long they're going to take to repair. That will be useful information later on down the road. But of course, this is the end of this series of RogueTech. There will be another in the future, but this next series that we're starting up cannot be a RogueTech series because the save break hasn't happened yet. So RogueTech will start reappearing in the polls after this poll that goes live with this episode. That's going to be the plan there. Assuming that the save break comes out on time. 48 days for repairs, apparently. Okay, cool. go ahead and get started on that, Yang, but I just want to check to see. Yeah, 25 and 17 days. I'm not hugely surprised about that. Okay, sounds good. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all in whatever the next series happens to be. See you all then.